So the final report gives you the opportunity to come up with your own experiment to investigate the physics behind an everyday object or phenomenon of interest to you. The final report contributes 30% towards your final mark for this subject. So how it works is, first of all, you need to think about what interests you and come up with an experiment. You can write a very short proposal of what you plan on doing and check that with me and your peers on the forum on open learning and get some feedback before you start. You have very clear instructions for the final report about how it's going to be marked. So if you download those notes about the final report, at the end there's a rubric of how it's going to be marked. So in particular, pay attention, you do need a graph. So make sure that you choose a topic where you can end up with a graph from the data that you collect. So once you're happy with your topic, you then need to conduct the experiment, come up with a way that you could utilize this in class. So you may choose to do a worksheet or possibly a lesson plan to include with your final report. Once the draft is ready, you'll need to post this onto the workshop tool. Now you do need to do that by the due date because the workshop tool switches modes. So it's going to switch from the upload your report mode to the peer review mode, and if you haven't uploaded by the peer review mode time, you're not able to upload anymore. So then what you'll do is you're going to be assigned 3 of your peers' reports to assess. So you'll be giving them feedback on what they could do better and what they've done well. And what you actually get assessed on in this component, rather than on your own report, well, 2% of your final mark comes from the completeness of that draft report, but the other 8% comes from the quality of the feedback that you give your peers. So the more constructive feedback you give them about how they can improve their report, the higher mark you will get. Okay, so you'll have 1 week to give peer feedback, and then that peer feedback will be released to you, and you'll have time to update your final report based on this feedback and submit it to Turnitin for me to mark. Now the very last thing you need to do is upload the final version of that final report to Open Learning so that your peers can see it, because then you should all end up with a big bank of really interesting activities and experiments that you can do with your classes.